Hello everyone. Today we have with us Mr. Mohit Bhandari as our guest speaker for the podcast series. Welcome to the podcast, sir. Please allow me to introduce you. Mohit Bhandari is the co-founder of Stratzy, a platform that uses research and insights to recommend trading strategies to online investors. They recently raised 800k USD pre-seed funding from investors like Titan Capital, Leo Capital, and First Check. So welcome to the podcast, sir. It's a pleasure having you.
Hey, thank you, Siddharth. Great connecting with you.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, to start with, could you give a brief background about yourself and what you have done in the past years?
Sure, yeah. I graduated from BITS Pilani Goa campus, and in my initial years at BITS Pilani, I was an engineering grad, right? But I was pretty much inclined towards finance. So I was a part of our finance club there, which was called the Wall Street Club, where we used to teach people about stock markets and all. And we used to teach our juniors about stock markets and options trading, crypto and all of these investing related topics. And that's how I got into finance. That's how I got into quant finance. Then I did my content. I worked at a quantitative research firm called TrendsQuant and WorldQuant as a quantitative researcher, where my primary work was to make quantitative trading strategies for the US European markets. After that, I worked with Mudrex, which is a Y Combinator backed startup, and I was a part of the product and growth team there. After that, I worked with Cred, working on their Cred Mint product. I was a product intern there, and it gave me huge insights into how to build good fintech products, how to keep that user first approach, and do all those things. So overall, I have a background in quant and product, and that's how we got started. So Stratzy, since the first year, me and Gaurav, my co-founder, we both knew each other since the first year. We both were a part of our finance club, the Wall Street Club, and we used to sit around, dabble around with ideas. The whole fintech boom that we were seeing, we wanted to be a part of it. So we, started dabbling around with a couple of ideas and implementing them, and that's how we, started on building on strategy.
Right, sir. So, let's start with the basics of what you do. So, what is strategy all about, and what is your basic business model?
Correct. So strategy, our vision is of the changing landscape of the investments right now. So we believe in an investment 2.0, right? Where we believe the future of investing is where retail investors, they get access to same kind of research that the ultra rich do, right? So the ultra rich, they have access to sophisticated investment products. And we want to provide those actively managed sophisticated investment products to the retail investors, and that is why strategy was born. So where strategy, you can invest into ideas and strategies, right? So now what are ideas? Let's go back to pandemic 2020. Every doctor in India was prescribing paracetamol. There's only one company in India which makes the chemical required to make paracetamol. It's called IOL Chemicals, and its stock price doubled, tripled in a couple of weeks. Now this is an idea which anyone can understand, right? Even you, even me, even someone who doesn't understand the complexities of stock markets or the technicalities of it, they can understand this idea. So we started off by this, that people can invest into such ideas and strategies. And our vision is that the investment 2.0, which we like to call it, is a different world where probably retail investors, they have access to the same research and the same expert driven research that the ultra rich do, right? That is one thing. The other thing is the social aspect of it. So I'm sure you must have heard of the GME saga, what happened on Reddit, right? The GameStop exchange. So most of these people, they were talking about GameStop. They figured out an idea and then they started investing into it, and they beat the hedge funds on it. So we believe the future of investing is collaborative, and that is what we are focusing on. Good research provided to retail investors, on the top of it a social angle where people can talk about ideas, they can share it with their friends, and probably do collaborative investments. They can talk about it and decide, do they want to invest into that or not. So that is overall what strategy is. It's basically a platform, an investment platform, which lets you invest into good ideas and strategies, at the same time giving you a collaborative feel.
Right, sir. So I read somewhere that it is a brokerage system. So how are you making money? So what's the business model basically?
Correct. So it's neo brokerage, right? So what we like to call it ourselves is a neo broker layer. So as you see, there are lots of neo banks which are built on top of a bank, right? We believe similarly we are a neo broker layer where we are built on top of the broker layers. So we're integrated with Zerodha, Fires, 5paisa, Angel Broking, Grow, all of these top brokerages out there, right? We are built on top of it. So all you can do is you can come connect your brokerage account and then you can start investing into these ideas and strategies. Now coming to the business model, we are yet to release our premium model. So we'll be releasing a premium version which we call it Stratzy Edge, and then users will have to pay a premium subscription for it, and they get access to better ideas and strategies.
Right, sir. Also, your business is a total trustworthy business. So you need to like build trust of your consumers. So how are you doing that? Like, is there you some sort of guarantee or some sort of comfort that you provide to your customers so
Correct.
they attach to you?
So trust is a very important factor, right? In financial services itself, in fintech, because if people don't trust you, they won't put money in your app or your product, right? And being straight out of college, being in a fintech domain which is dominated by people, in their 30s, 40s, it's difficult to build trust. But the way we go about it is, we give full transparency to our users that, this is the idea, this is the thesis that you want to invest into, these are the strategies, these are the picks that we have picked from the strategy. So it's based on complete transparency. You get access to understand what stocks are you putting your money into. Then we even give you updates on what's happening with your stock, what's happening with your portfolio. So it's like riding shotgun with your investor, where we basically help you understand what are the dynamics of the market, what's happening with the markets, what's happening with your portfolio, what's happening with your stocks, and overall making your journey easier, right? So that is what we focus on.
Right, sir. So talking about the investors, so how do you build the VC and entrepreneur relationship? So how do you actually reach out and what is the whole journey behind?
Correct, yeah. So I would say building a relationship with a VC or raising funds is a whole different ball game in itself, right? So what you need to do there is you need to answer a couple of their questions, right? You need to make sure that you so these questions are, the first question is, why are you the best team to build this, right? In our case, I was having a and a product background, whereas my co-founder Gaurav, he was having a background in tech. So we both collaborated on this fintech problem, and it made sense to actually do this, right? And that is the first thing. The other thing is, how big can this become, right? So how can this become a billion-dollar company, right? And we had that vision to show to VCs that this is a very big company which can become based on this model that we have created. So these are the couple of questions, right? The first is, why are you the best team to build this? The other is, how big can this become, right? And we had a pretty good vision about that. The other thing is, if you want to raise funds from VC, it's important to get in touch with them, right? Know the best network, have a good network of people who can get you connects with these VCs, right? And the other thing is, VCs, you need to understand how do they work initially. And how do they work is, they don't have much time. They are probably getting tons of pitch decks every day, right? So you need to differentiate from all of these others. So you need to figure out how are you different from your competitors, right? What are you doing differently? What are the problem statement that you're solving? What's your solution, and how is it different from these competitors, right? So that is one thing. We kind of gave good amount of time into understanding our business, right? The business we are in, the giving good amount of time into developing the product and getting an MVP out there. So whenever you are pitching to VCs, make sure that you have an MVP out there, you have a minimum viable product which people are using, because that gives you a proof of concept that, okay, people are using it, this is something probably useful, right? And basically strengthens your thesis about the product or about the markets.
Right, sir. So how did you like email them, or uh, did you take part in some competitions? How do you actually approach them? And how do you build connections? Like, do you have connections in your college or something like?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing is to make sure that you talk about your product a lot, right? So when you right now we have so much access to social media, right? So you could go out on LinkedIn, go out on Twitter, and talk about your startup, what you're building, right? That is when the VCs will notice you. They'll figure out, okay, these people are doing something, and we need to understand them, right? That is one thing. The other thing is surely, the Bits Pilani network really helped a lot, because lots of our alumni were in VCs in the startup ecosystem, so they helped us with some of these connects. But I would say, talk about your startup in the social domain, right? Let people know what you're doing, and if there are people using your product, if there are people talking about you, you'll surely get a limelight out of it, right? And that is how you build connections with these VCs. You can surely, connect on their websites. You can go to their websites, put in your pitch decks, and put in your application out there, so they'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Right, sir. So you talked about bits planning. It was one of my questions that is there a like I've seen a lot of founders like founders of Quest to our school and Blue Learn, Harish. So what are the things that is helping in building this ecosystem in bits planning, and what is special about bits? Yeah,
Yeah, so I like Pix Pilani because of a couple of reasons, right? The first is, of course, the 0% attendance policy. So I was an engineering grad, but most of us know that when we are getting into engineering, we don't know actually what to do with our life, right? Because we are stayed out of 12th, 11th, 12th, we just got science because we got good marks in 10th, and then we don't know what to kind of do after that, right? The first thing is you want to get into a good college, IIT, BITS, NITs, and all of these good colleges, and then you think, okay, life is sorted, I'll do something out of it, right? Now what bits planning gives you is they give you 0% attendance policy, right? So the best thing is you can go to bits pilani, and then you can, instead of visiting the lectures and learning something that you're not much passionate about, what you can do is you can probably try to attend different things. You can try various different things, and then figure out, okay, this is something which I like. So in my personal case, I worked with our technical club. I worked with our filmmaking club, because that is something which I thought probably I'm interested in. But after a couple of days, I understood, okay, this is not something for me. And the other best thing about Bets Plani is the network, right? So you meet good people there. You meet people who have accomplished something in their life. They are very cool people, right? They're building stuff, they are doing something of their own. Somebody has a YouTube channel, somebody is trying to build a own side project, someone has did a small business sort of things, right? So that is very important, because when you are around people who are building, people who are creating, people who are learning every second of their life, right? You understand what's the importance of it, and it kinds of trickles down to you, right? And when you're around such people, the inductive effect plays its role, and you get to learn from these people, you get to absorb from these people, and along your way, you surely find good things happening. So I think these two things are the most critical, the 0% attendance policy, which lets you find your passion, find your calling. And on the other end, the network, the group of people that are there in the college, they help you grow yourself when you're around such people.
right, sir. First step of a startup, right? If someone wants to build a business or something, so what should be the first step? Like get some work experience in the startup, and if yes, what are startup founders looking in for an intern, and how can they approach startup founders and gain experience?
Sure. So the first step towards building a startup is, start off by thinking about a problem statement that you want to solve, right? So I don't know if you've heard of Animal. Animal is a Sequoia-backed startup, and the problem statement that they were solving was that, many of these farmers and rural people in India, what they have a problem is that, they let's say they want to buy a cow or a buffalo, right? But then they can only buy cow or buffalo near their area, right? So what Animal did was they made a marketplace where anyone can, sort of put their cattle on the marketplace, and then they can buy and sell those cattle. So that was a very interesting idea, right? It had a simple problem statement that यार ये problem है कि इंडिया में लोग रूरल इंडिया को कैटल्स अगर बाई करने या अपने कैटल सेल करना है, they don't have much options, and they expose them to so much options. So the first thing is, finding a problem statement. The second thing is creating a solution out of it. How do you want to solve that problem, right? And then you create a MVP or a minimum viable product which you get out to the market with, right? You get users trying that product out. Then you go to the VCs, you explain them, this is the MVP that we built, and these are the people using it, and this is the problem statement that we are solving, and we believe that this could be a bigger this could become a big thing going forward. So these are the steps towards, creating your own startup, finding a problem statement, creating a solution, creating an MVP, building a team, and then going all in into it. Now coming to the second part of it, what are the things that we look into when we are finding an intern or finding for a person fit for our startup is a couple of things. So the first thing is, of course, we look for people who are entrepreneur in their own terms, right? So if you're creating your own project, if you've worked on your side hustle, if you've worked on something which is very close to you, which you did from end to end, it gives us huge conviction that, probably this guy has built these things on their own. He has the drive to do these things, and he can solve for problems coming in at them, right? So this is one of the things that we see, that they should be entrepreneur in their own terms, right? The second thing is, of course, the urge to learn, right? So the people that we hire should be extremely curious, right? They want to know more, they want to learn more, they want to implement more, they want to, kind of take it to the next level, right? Because there are many people who just want to work for the sake of it, right? They just want some experience on their resume, or they just want kind of experience where they are just handed out work, and they do the work, but they don't want to take it to the next level. They don't want to do more than what they are asked for. But that is not what people at people who usually startups look for, right? They look for people who can do the more, they can go the extra mile, they can do the extra work. So these are the main things that, we look at: entrepreneur in their own terms, being good at curiosity, being good at learning things, right? And the drive to learn, drive to do more, drive to create an impact. These are the main things that, we look at while hiring someone.
Right, sir. So moving back to your business strategy. So I want to know what legal framework goes behind working in a investment management space. So is there like you need to take some permission from SEBI, or what is the legal framework that goes behind that?
Correct. So our startup, right? Our product is into giving recommendations to people. So what we do need is a research analyst license which from SEBI. So we have a corporate RA license from SEBI, which is a research analyst license, which gives us the ability that, this is the research report that we have provided on a stock or a collection of stocks, and then people can invest into those stocks, and that is the legal framework for it. Now you need certain requirements to get that license, right? And we have people on board in our team which clear those who clear those benchmarks, right? And they are eligible for a license. So that is something which is very important when you're working in the financial services domain. Depending on your startup, right? If you're into insurance, you would probably need an insurance license. If you're into stock markets, you would need a research analyst or an investment advisor license. And these are the things, which you'll need to take care of. But initially, when you're building your product, building your startup, I would say regulation is one thing, but the other thing is, because regulation can be solved for, right? It's a thing which you can gain access to when you have capital or a good team. So that is the secondary thing. The first thing is to actually build one product and get it out to the markets. That shows you that, that shows basically that you have the drive to build that product and you're actually passionate about the problem. But yeah, in our case, it's the RA or the RIA license that we would need.
Right, sir. So moving to your app is amazing. So when you build your first app of your app, so what difficulties do you face, like improving step by step? You get the improvement verified, and how do you build the app? Yeah.
Yeah, so for building a product, you need a team, right? So the first thing that we did was we got the best people from our college, right? We interviewed many of them, we talked with many of them, understood what are their expectations, and we built a superstar team from these people, right? These were designers, developers, UI UX people who have previously worked at some products or have previously built some products, right? So that's the first step, right? You need people building products, you need people who have experience building products, you get them on board, right? You create basically wireframes that, this is how the product should look like, and then you start implementing on them. Then you start having discussions with your developers, you have a roadmap that, these are the things that I want to achieve by the end of this month or the end of these 2 months. And then you start following those roadmap, and then kind of create the product that you're working on. So that forms the part of how to go about building a product.
Right, sir. And just to follow up to that, I saw your app design. So like in apps like small case or other investment management space, so they have like a clear road path that we need to follow. But in your app, like in Cred, like everything is open and you can explore anywhere. So what was the strategy behind that design specifically?
Correct. So design, I would say we are yet we have done a good work on the initial prototype, but certainly we want to improve more. We want to get to a stage where any users that come onto the platform can actually convert to a activated user. That is what we are focusing on. Certainly it's kind of open, the need for it being that we are targeting people who already have a brokerage account. So these are people who have already probably opened a brokerage account, they've gone to the tough steps of KYC and all to open a brokerage account because they want to invest into stock markets, but now they don't know where to start from, they don't have any clue, and we are here to help them. So that is why it's kind of kept open. The other thing being that we are going to introduce couple of more features, couple of more products into the Stratzy app, keeping in our vision of investment 2.0, right? So we believe that in investment 2.0, the millennial Gen Z population that are driving the current growth, these people would be majorly looking at equity and crypto as an asset class, right? So we are providing many products at the same time. That's why it's kind of open, but we are working towards creating that user journey, creating that streamlined flow where anyone that comes onto the app, they can understand what's happening with the app, and then they can start investing with Stratzy.
Also, just a small follow up to that. Uh, like uh, like again, all these apps have a white background, but in your app there's a slightly darker background. So is there a thing behind that also?
Yeah, so we were actually a fan of the dark theme. Me and my co-founder Gaurav, we both used dark themes, and we figured out. We talked to many of these people, many of the millennial Gen Z population. They were using our app initially. Initially, we had a white background, and then they said that black theme seems good, so that's why we went for it. But it's always advisable to have both white and black themes, and we are also creating a white theme right now, which will be live soon. But yeah, that was the starting of it. It's nothing as such like we planned it out, but it was something that we liked the look of it, and we just went ahead with it.
Right. So, and the next question is, who do you see as your competitor? As I see that small case is not your competitor direct, but I see some apps like researched that Slack is a company. under Y Combinator, which I see is a similar base like you. So who do you see actually as a competitor?
Correct. So we see many of these apps are as our competitors, right? Small Case is one of the competitors, Stack is one of the competitors, even InMoney is one of the competitors. But at the same time, we like to differentiate ourselves because we are working on the investment 2.0 vision. We're working on the investment 2.0 landscape where we believe that retail investors, they need access to good research, they need access to the tools and products that are only available to the alternates right now, at the same time having collaborative effect, right? So I'm sure you must have heard of the GME saga, what happened with GameStop in Reddit, right? And it showed us that all of these retail investors, they collaborated on a single idea that actually beat these hedge funds and all, right? So we believe that the future is collaborative, and that is where the power of retail lies. And that is what we are focusing on, the investment 2.0 landscape, as I said, right? Being equity and crypto first, and then having a collaborative, having a social angle on top of it. That is what we are focusing on. So even though we consider ourselves as probably competitors to Small Case and Money, Stack, and all of these other apps, but at the same time we have a different approach because we are focusing on the investment 2.0 landscape.
Right, sir. So moving to a bit personal question. So how a day in a life of an entrepreneur goes? How your day starts and what kind of work you actually do on a daily basis and what role you played in the startup? Yeah.
Yeah. So every day is a new day, and that's what I have on my Twitter profile ID, right? Because it actually is that way, right? Every day is a new day. Because the majority of my work is, to collaborate with people, to collaborate with a design, tech team, quant team, investments team, figure out where are we heading, right? So we at Stratzy always believe that the founders should think 2 quarters above, 2 quarters ahead of what's happening right now, right? So right now we might be working on a product XYZ, but at the same time the founders need to have a vision about what we will be doing 2 quarters ahead, right? Or 3 quarters ahead. And that is what we focus on, finding out key are where is this thing heading towards, right? So it's like a ship, right? It's like a ship. The sailors are the co-founders, and all of the team members are the crew members who are making sure that the ship is sailing smoothly. But at the same time, we want to make sure that okay, we are heading to somewhere good, somewhere good island, right? And that is what my work is majorly, collaborating with people, making them understand what the vision is, and where are we heading towards. The other of majority of my time goes into working on the product metrics. What kind of metrics are we tracking, how are they looking at, how can we improve on those metrics. And then the other part is, of course, talking to VCs, understanding taking how the market looks like, and designing around the product.
Oh,
Hello.
I guess you lacked a bit, but it's okay now. So
Yeah.
moving to the next question, it seems like you are a night person, right? So do you believe in the narrative that we should wake up early, and is that what you believe?
Yeah, my thinking on, so I have had a erratic lifestyle, right? So everyone in engineering college, they know they sleep at probably 3 4 a.m. in the morning, and then they don't do the breakfast. They wake up at 1 or 2 p.m. So I've had that kind of lifestyle too. I've had a lifestyle where I wake up 6 in the morning, because when I was very young, I used to play football for district at Ahmedabad, and we used to wake up at 6 7 a.m. and go for our training. So I've had that lifestyle too. I've had this engineering lifestyle, and I'm kind of a believe I have a believe in, do what you like, right? So there are people who are more comfortable working in the night. That's fine. There are some people who are more comfortable waking up early and focusing on their work and in the early morning. That's also fine. I believe in giving people the mind space, giving people the kind of flexibility, right, to work on their own terms. That is certainly very important. But I believe, waking up early is good. It actually so sometimes what we do is, we all wake up early and we do a meditation session. All sit around for like 20 to 30 minutes, and we do some meditation out there that actually helps in increasing your focus time, helping you basically getting more productivity out from you. So I believe in both of them. But yeah, I personally I've had kind of an erratic lifestyle. Sometimes I sleep at 3 a.m. and wake up at 7 a.m., right? And sometimes I sleep at, let's say, 10 p.m. in the night and then wake up at 6 a.m. So it's totally on the person.
Right, sir. So just to end, any one advice that you want to give to our viewers, combining with any recommendation, book recommendations, podcast, or any articles that you want to recommend.
Definitely, yeah. So I remember this amazing book by Jason Kothari. It's called Irrationally Passionate, right? Irrationally Passionate, and that is a book which is very close to me. The reason being, we had almost closed our startup at that point, and when I read this book, I felt, we should probably give it one more try. And that is when we started, went back to our whiteboard, drafted a plan for Stratzy, launched it, and then gained some traction, raised funds and all. So that is because Jason Kothari, amazing entrepreneur, right? He has worked with Snapdeal, worked with housing.com, he has worked with many of these firms, and he tells a story how he had hit rock bottom, and kind of came up from it. He bought this comic company, right, and Valiant Entertainment, and then he took it to the next level. And even though it took him like 9 10 years, he was working on it without any kind of outcome coming out of it, but he still kept persisting on that problem, right? Kept persisting on that idea, and he finally made it. So that book is really important to me. The advice like I would like to give to people listening to this is, be passionate about things, be irrationally passionate, because I remember many of the time where people were telling me ki yaar, what are you building, right? What are you doing with your life? You should probably get a job, you should probably do something else. But all of the people who probably made it were somewhat mad, right? They were somewhat irrational in their own terms. And that is what I like about the book. That is what I like to have as a guiding line for my own life, that being irrational is okay, right? Being irrational is fine as long as you are passionate about something. And that is what I truly believe in. Like be irrational, that's fine, but be passionate, be persistent, right? Keep doing things and don't give up on things, right? Don't give up on especially things that you are passionate about, right? Don't give up on things that you want to do. And that would be my advice. Be passionate, be rational, be curious, just keep learning all of these things. And life is a very big game. Life is a very long road. And even if you are finding yourself in kind of a mess, make sure, just keep believing yourself, and you'll surely go through it. You'll surely learn through it at least.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. It was really insightful for me, and I hope the same for the viewers.
Yeah, definitely. Great talking with you, Siddharth. Amazing to talk with you on this, and I hope the viewers they learn something, they take away something from this.
Thank you so much.